This is the brand new Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Yes, that's a bit of a mouthful. And I start my video that way so that you know that I have this in hand and it isn't something that I just saw on the internet. Now, the craziest thing happened. I ordered this on launch day thinking, well, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna play with it, but I wouldn't do a traditional unboxing and review because there's gonna be a ton of traditional ones out there already. Turns out, Google sent out the review units on a Friday, right before the holiday weekend, and there aren't too many of the actual official review videos out yet. So screw it. You get an extra video from me. I'll do the review. Let's have some fun. It's here. I have been waiting for an amazing foldable phone since, well, forever. I've used many different foldables over the years, but this is the first one where I actually looked at it and thought, this is the one. I need to buy it. I purchased this with my own money. This isn't a Team Pixel or review unit or anything, although Google, if you want to send me review units in the future, call me, be happy to talk. Now, I mentioned before I wasn't going to do an unboxing video, but when I unboxed it, I did film it, I guess just in case. B-roll? I don't know. So let's go through what's in the box. Cue the high-quality first-person view. The box comes flat now as compared to last year's much larger box, and apparently has zero plastic inside. This is a really tight package. Well done, Google. Right out of the box, we have the Pixel Open Flat, which last year's model couldn't even do. Also in the box is your standard USB-C to C cable. Next, you have your reading materials with your inputs diagram and a SIM ejector tool. I appreciate those still being in there, since despite owning a million of them, I can never actually find one when I need it. Okay, let's get to the main attraction. Wow, look at this thing. It is so thin. What a marvel of design. All right, let's ruin it with its first flex. Just kidding, that's awesome. It's honestly a little crazy how much this feels just like a regular phone when it's closed, but then, oh wait, it's also a foldable. It is a very satisfying magnetic pop closed, and opening it does have a slight sound of the screen bending, but I understand that's normal, even if we would prefer it didn't make that sound. Can I open it one-handed? Sort of, but I'm a big guy with big hands, so that helps. Okay, the moment we've been waiting for. Let's turn it on and see this beautiful screen. I love the little haptic feedback every time the squiggly circle thing bounces. Nice touch. Check out how thin this is. Side by side with my 15 Pro Max open, it's thinner than the iPhone. Closed, it's slightly thicker than the iPhone, but I suppose it would be similar to an iPhone with a case on it. Let's connect to my Wi-Fi and get it set up. All right, back to future me, several days older and several days wiser, and several days more experienced using the amazing Google Pixel Pro Fold. Did I get that name right? Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Let's just call it Pixel 2. Yeah, all right, fine, I get it, Google. It's more of a Pro, it's the 9 Pro series, we get it. First off, as a new foldable user, coming from a standard candy bar, forever, iPhone user, I actually keep forgetting to open it until I'm like, oh, I want to do something on the bigger screen. Oh wait, there's a bigger screen, let's open it up and use it. They did an amazing job of making this feel just like a normal phone when it's closed, albeit slightly a tiny bit thicker than normal. But it feels regular. Then, because it's a foldable, you also have the option to open it up and use it as a full screen. That being said, someone who's used to the wide phone form factor of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, this screen does feel a little bit narrow. I'd say quite a bit narrow, actually. So much so to the point where I'll be doing something on this screen, and I'll say, oh, I wish this was bigger. And then I'll realize, oh, well, duh. Open it up, and now it's bigger. Again, gotta remember to open this thing. Now, perhaps that's part of the purpose of the design here, the way that they did this, is so that you will be driven to open it more, and this doesn't need to be so big because anything that you're going to want to do on a bigger screen, you'll just open it up. That being said, pulling it out of my pocket and just using this screen for many things is usually fine. I'm just used to a bigger screen. As for unlocking the device, I'm using it with two users. I have a personal account, which is a Gmail, and I have a work, which is a Google Workspace domain account. Unlocking it using my fingerprint is incredibly fast on both. I do wish it had an under-the-screen fingerprint reader for when it's on my desk and I just want to put my fingerprint on it instead of reaching around weird to the side button with my thumb, but I guess I could solve that by just assigning my index and middle finger instead of using the thumb. One interesting gripe that I have with Google and Android as a whole, and I'll get to this in another video coming next week or so, is Why can I not use the web-based apps of Gmail and Docs, etc. in Chrome? I know it's possible because I downloaded Edge and I was able to load them up and they work, all right, fine, not 100% perfectly, but they work. And they work well enough that I can use them in the web interface, which I prefer. Anytime you try to open a Google app in Chrome, it forces you over into either the crappy, basic web version or into their app. I get in theory that their app is a better experience overall, but I prefer the web experience, so I'd appreciate at least having the choice. Give me a warning that it's going to be a degraded performance. Fine, 100%. That's my risk to take. It's still a very usable interface. And again, I know it can be done because I'm using Gmail, the full Gmail web app, in Edge on here. I'll show it to you, but that's all my emails. For a full video on how productive you can be on just the Pixel 9 Pro Fold using Edge, subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as that goes live. Another thing that helps me be productive is today's sponsor, MoveBot. They're amazing when it comes to moving files from one cloud to the other, or even from on-prem into the cloud. It's really simple to just connect your storage into their system, nothing to install, select the files that you want to migrate, and away you go. You can even watch the reporting in real time to see that your files are doing exactly what you want them to be doing to give you peace of mind that the migration is going successfully. So big thanks go out to them as a sponsor for this channel so that I can afford to buy things like this and do videos like these for you. Check them out, movebot.io today. Now back to the video. One thing I want to point out is that other early reviews were saying that you could only have 2 apps locked side by side when you were trying to do multitasking on this phone. Whilst this is true, one of the things that I wanted to know is if you would be able to have a YouTube player pop out and be playing on the screen in addition to those 2 things. So if you wanted to, say, for example, be reading The Verge while you are watching one of my videos, and you also want to go and download an app, would that be possible? And as you can see here on the phone, it is. You can even move the player around the screen like normal, and if you want to hide it away to the side where you're not watching the video and just listening while you're doing your other things, or so you can see something else on the screen, you can definitely do that on both sides as well. This is exactly how I expected it to work, and I look forward to utilizing this in my video on productivity, which will hopefully, as I mentioned before, come out next week, so stay tuned. Let's get back to talking about the inside screen. This thing is super bright, like surface of the sun, nearly as bright as a MacBook Pro screen bright. Now, as somebody who lives in a sunny climate in Southern California, where it's very often sunny, we get a lot of sun out here, it really irks me when I have a device that has a low brightness screen where I can't see squat outside. I've been using this outside for the last couple of days, and I have to say this has been an absolute pleasure as how bright and clear the screen has been to use while outdoors in direct sunlight. Let's talk cameras real quick. And there are already a bunch of reviews that have gone deep into cameras, and I'll do a video on that dedicated because I am, videographer, photographer guy as well. But one of the things I have to say is that the cameras are fast. And I'm specifically talking about the double tap the power button to launch the camera. You saw how fast that launched. Now, if I were to do the same thing on my iPhone, press and hold the shortcut there, that is much longer than the double tap that immediately launched and loaded the camera over on the Pixel. So I was very impressed with that. And that may be just new to me. That could be an Android feature, but in my experience here, I'm very impressed. Now, yes, there are those who have talked about and complained about issues with the placement of the charging coil in the back. Apparently, it has moved. Given I'm not daily driving an Android phone before this, I didn't particularly notice that. I have a wireless charger on my desk from Anker, which I place this on, and it does charge just by placing it on there, totally normal. But I don't think it's a key charger. I don't think it's a fast charger. It's just your standard wireless old school charger. That being said, as I get more into the ecosystem and start using more of the peripherals, I'm sure I will find that as well. Why Google did that, I'm sure it had to do with the placement of the mechanics inside. Only Google knows, and time will tell. All in all, this is the single best foldable I have ever used, and quite possibly something I would consider daily driving in the future. What do you think? Are you going to be buying one? Have you already bought one? Thanks for watching.